Oregon, and I've been a sex worker there for about 5 years now. I mostly do exotic dance. I've also done some foot fetish work and some pro domination stuff. And I'm going to read some stories that I wrote from work, mostly from the strip club. And these aren't about politics of the work that I do, which is incredibly empowering and is very often misunderstood. So if you'd like to talk to me about what I do afterwards, please come talk to me. But these are just stories, and I use some really strong language and some sexual situations. So just as a fair warning, if you're triggered by that, be aware, or if you want to do that. Also, okay. Really, such an unsuspecting guy. Truck driver, no home, sends all his mail to his father's house, saves all his money for the strippers. What a nice man. He really wants to talk about himself, which is good. The tiresome bullshit get-to-know-you questions really open Charlie up, and he lets it go, all right. A truck driver, you say? Do you pick up hitchhikers much? I ask, having gotten many rides from truckers in the past. Used to, not no more. Honestly, the worst of the worst happened, and I ain't gonna risk it again. My interest piqued. I leaned in, lowered my voice, and asked, "Now what exactly do you mean by that?" I rarely hear a bad hitch story from the driver's side of the car, and I'll tell you, this job is all about hearing that other side, whether you want to or not. Well, I picked up this guy once, rode him a couple 100 miles. Very quiet, polite young man, not much for words, which I honestly do appreciate. He got out, left his bed bugs behind, and I'll tell you what, bed bugs are the worst. Charlie gets really animated now, swinging his arms around, scratching his body all over. You know, they get on your hands, and then you touch your face, and he touches his face. Then your face gets all itchy, and you touch your hair, touches his nearly bald head. Then it's in your hair, and then you touch your down here, and he grabs his dick. And that's all itchy, my God. Charlie goes on in this vein for a while, describing how excruciatingly terrible bed bugs on your junk are, and that he cleaned his rig many times, and even changed rigs, and they were still there. I keep going to the doctor, and eventually, he thought I was just insane, so he put me on psychiatric medication, and was talking about throwing me in the hospital if I didn't quit soon. You see, he thought they were in my head, these bugs, that I was making it up. Well, I'll tell you what, I started noticing that when I was on my computer was in my lap, I would start getting all scratchy. You wouldn't believe this. The bugs were living inside my computer. They were attracted to the lubricant and the heat and the keyboard. They were holing up in there and having the babies and shit and making my life a fucking hell. So I bucked up and threw that $2,500 piece of shit right out the window. Well, ain't that one hell of a story? After a while, all the while, I'm listening to this guy dolled up in beauty products, wearing not much more than underwear, smile and nod, smile and nod. I get up on the stage to do my thing, and Charlie follows me, sitting down and placing a $20 bill at the rack. Is this a proposition or just a tip, I ask, unsure of his desire to have a table dance or not. That's just a tip, little lady, and there's more where that came from. Oh Lord, it's my lucky day. This rarely happens in my club. Most of the patrons are broke as fuck, just like me, and or using our club as a warm-up for the night. People assume I make a shit ton of money stripping, but honestly, it averages out to a little bit more than minimum wage over the years. This is my experience. I'm not an all-star hustler, and I work only as much as I have to, so of course accounts vary. It is a very interesting thing when customers come into the bar with actual money to spend. First of all, the girls swarm around them, of course, flagrantly disregarding the etiquette, which states that you do not try to hustle another dancer's customer away from her. Big spender buys everyone in the house a drink, gets wasted themselves, has the other dancers sit with him while he watches the ones on stage, tips a big stack of $1 bills so it looks all flashy, and so on. The other customers buddy up to the big spender in hopes of scoring a few more drinks. The other customers at the rack get ignored because they're paying $1 or $2 a song like it's the fucking dollar menu at McDonald's or something. And suddenly I feel very inadequate with a flurry of money from big spender. They get up and leave most of the time. Alright, in the dressing room, I'm in my street clothes, trying to chug this last beer before departing on what promises to be a beautiful summer evening bike ride home. Sierra comes in to prepare for her evening shift. We get to chatting because she used to be the booker for our club, the one that originally hired me as a brand newbie dancer. It's strange to think that I've been at this job for 3.5 years. I haven't held a job I haven't held a job that long. Rarely lived in one place for that long either. We get to talking about Sierra's other job as a vet tech and how she had to take a break from it because she didn't have enough time for her son. Whilst applying antiperspirant deodorant to her armpits, then to her hands, then to her inner thighs and labia, she says, dancers are so thoughtless. They get into this job and are so stoked by the money that they think they can just do this forever. They never go to school, they don't plan for the future, and suddenly their tits are dragging on the floor and they don't know what the fuck to do. You have to have a game plan for when you can't dance no more. Me, I got a vet tech license on the set. But for now, hell yeah, I'm going to dance my ass off. In fact, I can support my son much better this way than if I had a legit job. We can spend so much more time together. Isn't that lovely? Yeah, that's lovely. On that note, I throw one leg over and sit right on my bike seat, smiling face, and ride into the sunset.